right, since we live, check sound.
All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
I want to give all praise and glory to
Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, Rakakadash.
double honors to the apostles, double honors to the elders of Great Millstone, and salutations to you brothers that are teaching the truth and sincerity across the four corners of the earth. We're the GMS Atlanta camp, coming at you with another edifying lesson through the Spirit. And the brother's going to open up the article. And we basically going to hop into prophecy, getting into the downfall and collapse of Babylon the Great, which is America. Mm-hmm. America is spiritually Babylon the Great. And it's prophesied in the scripture that in these end times, Esau will be ruling, and the beginning of Jacob will follow. Somebody can get 7 chapter 6 verse 9. Because this is the end of this man's kingdom. Who is Esau, the so-called white man?
Mm-hmm. Let's start at verse 7. This is 2 Ezra 6 and 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times, or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth?
So Ezra asked the angel, he prayed to the Most High, in the spirit. He asked the Lord, hey, when is the end times going to be? When is our times going to come? And he talks about that more in the 8th chapter of 2 Ezra. Keep going.
God. Verse 8, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau.
Because they was both twins in the womb of Rebekah, our foremother that was married to our forefather Isaac. Go ahead.
Verse 9, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
So Esau is the end of the world. A lot of people use these words idly, but they don't really know what they're saying. Like a lot of people, so-called Christians, it's like, oh, it's the end of the world. And, people that are not in the know of the scriptures, they even say it's the end of the world. Where did they get that term from? Mm-hmm. The Spirit of the Lord is pouring it out here through his men. Starting with the apostles of Great Millstone and the elders on down. Keep going.
God. Verse 10, the hand of man is betwixt the heel and the hand. Other questions, Esdras, ask thou not.
God. That's it on that.
God.
All right, this is the article from shithitsthefanplan.com. It says, Peter Schiff, nobody wants to deal with the truth that this economy is going into recession. So it says, Peter Schiff, a stock market analyst, said in his recent podcast that Americans just don't want the truth. Schiff says that it is very likely that we are already in a recession and no one wants to accept that or even deal with it.
See, that's heavy right there. Because even going back, Spirit has opened up in 2 Ezra, the 6th chapter. As the angel, he said, what shall be the parting asunder of times, and when shall the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? Because these are a continuation of the signs of, because even when you think about a kingdom, like a lot of people think about kingdoms in the ancient world context or ancient world vision, so to speak, but with kingdoms, it's more than just the royal family, the king, and that's it. When you look back at it in history, it's kind of how you look back at it. Certain king reigned at this time. He was married to so and so. The lineage went, but there's a whole kingdom and a dominion and things that are happening in these times. So even like what the brother read from this article, when Peter Schiff, is going into the economy, he says no one wants to admit it or see it, but the economy has already pretty much crashed. You know what I'm saying? It's just the thing about it is you have signs of an economy and connecting that with the kingdom economy and your flow of production and products taken in, import, export, production, labor, all these things go into how well an economy is run and operated.
I got a precept on it too. Right? This is Isaiah chapter 53, verse 1. Who have believed our report? And to whom is the arm of the Lord revealed? So who's believing that, we prophesying about Esau and the rest of these kingdoms that are in rulership, hand in hand with Esau, ruling over us? We're saying that they're going to go down. That's pursuant to Joel chapter 3.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord required a recompense amongst our enemies' heads for what they did to us in the slave trade. You had different slave trade. Atlantic slave trade. You had the Arab, come throughout slave trade. So they still got to pay back for that, because that's how they got the riches of this world.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why the Lord is tearing down one of their kingdoms. The elite, they want to bankrupt the society, but at the same time, the peons, they look forward to keep this thing going. They don't know no better.
Yeah.
But that's all according to the Lord's program.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's my
I was saying, the brother spoke about the people designed to keep the economy going because they're the slaves. The people are the human capital who are doing the work that make up on the macro level the economy. So yeah, these people want to see it continue because they're still holding on to the American dream.
But this is a report that Peter Schiff was talking about. They don't want to take the truth of the matter that Esau's kingdom is going to be torn down.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord said they should build the desolate places, but the Lord should knock it down in Malachi chapter 1 verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going.
All right, it says, nobody wants to deal with the truth because you know how grim the reality is. Because if you have to accept the fact that this economy is going into recession, then you have to accept a lot of unpleasant things that nobody wants to admit. Schiff was quoted during his podcast, according to Schiff Gold. The stock market got a nice bump on Monday with the news that there was a truce in the trade war that lasted all of one day. The market's tanked.
If I can say, if I'm not mistaken, that truce in the trade war that Petership is referring to is between the U.S. and China,
Mm-hmm.
because Trump is pretty much proclaimed and declared to put these heavy tariffs on China. It would just start off gradual, start off on certain industries, 10, 15%. But now he's talking about it. Part of his agenda is to push a complete 25% tariff on all Chinese imports, and it takes time for that to actually, be declared and go into action. But the bump that Peter Schiff is referring to in this specific moment is Trump talking to the Chinese leader about the possibility of coming to some type of agreement, so those tariffs will have to actually go into effect.
Yeah, and this week the stock market, the stock market actually closed down for the funeral of that devil George H.W. Bush, and that's never happened before. Then the day before it went down 800 points, and then I think yesterday before it closed it went down another 800 points. So these are just telltale signs that this economy is heading into like Peter Schiff is saying, a recession, man.
Mm-hmm.
And, but on the flip side, the media puts out these articles. I just read an article yesterday that unemployment is at 3.7%, which is the lowest of all time. They put these in here to keep people going. They put these articles to keep people going. Oh yeah, there's jobs out here. We gonna keep working. We're gonna keep building up. But all signs are leading towards economic, collapse.
If I can say one thing real quick, because the brother spoke on the stock market, just looking into the market right now, the market is very volatile, man. It's a very volatile market right now, man. Very volatile, very unstable. The market this week, in one day, the market lost. The Dow Jones Industrial Average went down over 2% in one day. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the difference. Like, just compare that to like a worldly scenario. That's like seeing the price of gas go up. Like in our area, gas like what, 210, 215. It's like seeing the gas go up like 5 cents. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like in real context, if you see the gas go up or down like 10, 15 cents, like, man, gas going up, gas going down. But that's because you feel it every day. The market, man, is rocky. And at any point, any type of rocky movement like that, at any point, if you riding that wave, you can collapse. And that's what's going to happen one day with this economy, man. With this stock market, the markets are already just all out of whack. Going back to the Federal Reserve banking system, which brothers speaking before the camera came on, this guy Peter Schiff, his father wrote a book, you know what I'm saying, going into the depths of the U.S. economy and the way it was structured, how it was built on an unsustainable foundation. And his father went to jail for that. You know, and here's a guy coming a generation later who still has that foundational understanding of how markets truly are supposed to work and how you're supposed to maximize them and things that will lead to those times going down. And he's saying, yo, it's over. The economy is over. But all the brothers going into that propaganda machine. All right. And unemployment's at an all-time low. You can still get cheap money. You can still get your loans. You got good credit, take this loan. You got bad credit, let's help you get better credit. You know what I'm saying? It's all a sham. But at one day it's gonna crash. And one day soon, Lord willing.
Got a precept. This is 2 Ezra chapter 16, verse 21. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they think that somebody, let me read the top. 2 Ezra 16:21. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall go upon the earth sword, famine, and great confusion. Like the brother was saying, a lot of people, you know, food is somewhat cheap. The gas is cheap. You know, everything is cheap. But people think they're in a good case, but they don't understand. All right, that's why we make these videos to tell you, all right, to prepare yourself spiritually for famine, poverty, all right, all these things that are coming. And I got another scripture, 2 Ezra 15 and 49. It says, I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence to waste thy houses with destruction and death. So this is already, you know, prophesied in the Bible, and we're just filtering it out through these articles from these what is Peter Schiff? He's like a chief. What's the title of Peter Schiff?
I know he's a
financial expert.
Financial, you know.
Yeah, we're
He's an
filtering
analyst. He's a stock market analyst.
Yeah, we're filtering out to these stock market analysts to tell you that economic collapse is coming, because you know Jake don't want to believe what we talking about, so we got to bring it out from a devil to further bring out the point that economic collapse is coming to the United States and around the world.
Man, we breaking this thing down, man. All through the spirit, probably how about you now, shot. We say that humbly, but the thing is, who else is out here actually filtering? Let the brothers go into the news. We're actually watching the markets. You know what I'm saying? Like we're getting, you know, a lot of knowledge through the spirit. You know what I'm saying? And the Most High is making us privy to a lot of things for the simple fact that we're in the know on the things that are most important to Him, man. Which is pushing these prophecies and warning our people of the oncoming destruction. All right, these right here is an economic sign, you know, and it's a sign that on the trajectory that the U.S. economy is on, is going to crash. But the thing about it is, like the brother was saying, you know, Jake being stubborn and hard-headed, don't want to take heed to the men who actually have the spiritual filtration device, man. And whether they hear or forbear.
All right. Jump right back into it. It said the stock market got a nice bump on Monday with the news that there was a truce in the trade war that lasted all of one day. The markets tanked on Tuesday as investors realized the truce really didn't mean anything. The Dow Jones plunged 799 points, a 3.1 percentage drop. The S&P 500 declined 3.2%, while the Nasdaq was down 3.8%. As one news outlet put it,
if I can say, bro, that's big. That's big. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, just putting it in the context, like 2-3%. like I said, our area gas is like roughly $2. What if you live in a place where gas is $3? It can get to $4. It can happen. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like the brother said, because victuals are so cheap, people's minds aren't not screwed on correctly, man.
Yeah.
A gift destroyeth the heart.
That's right.
A 2, 3, 4% move in gas could be 8 to 15 cents. If and when that begins to happen in your neighborhood, you're like, damn, what the hell is going on, man? That's going to lead to a lot of other things that are written up in the book of Esdras. Martial law, rationing, food rationing, supply rationing, martial law, because you have to keep away. You have to have a way to control the population as you're cutting down on what's feeding those demons.
All right, so continuing on, it says, as one news outlet put it, investors are quickly realizing that the U.S.-China war is not over. The tariffs already put in place remain, and new tariffs could be implemented if the two sides fail to make progress. All right, continuing on, it says, the market is saying it thinks sometime 2 or 3 years from now, the Fed is going to be cutting rates because the economy is going to be in a recession, said Schiff. And so people think yields will be lower 3 years from now than they are today because they think the economy will be into a recession at some point in the future.
See, and this is another thing, going into what? You speaking about interest rates, which are set by the Federal Reserve. All right, the Federal Reserve, which was set up to control the money supply, man, by the wicked elites of Esau Edom, you know. But what he's speaking on are big numbers. It sounds small, like on the micro side of it, but macro, that controls all interest rates. The rate set by the Federal Reserve and how much money they print and destroy all goes into every loan that everyone receives in America and around the world.
I got a precept.
Come.
This is Isaiah chapter 19, verse 15. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. And that's what's happening with these jobs cuts as well. All of this is entangled in one within this economy. So that's even showing proof that America is doing poorly.
Yeah, like we did a video about 3 weeks ago that 62% of Americans, all right, basically can afford the basic necessities to stay afloat. Man, they have to have a few jobs. They're making the decisions. They're making decisions as far as staying. Some people sleep in their cars.
Mm-hmm.
You got tent cities, so all this is affecting the people. All right, in America, which goes to show you that the middle class is dead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's only two sides, the rich and the poor.
Yeah. All right. Continuing on, it says, Schiff added that there is a good possibility that we are actually in a recession right now. In fact, we may even be in a recession now. We don't know yet. We won't know until the government goes back and revises all the numbers. But that is what they will do, because if you look at what is going on beneath all the headlines, the real economic data is weak. I don't care what the employment rate, see, there it goes. I don't care that the unemployment rate is still low. So that doesn't mean anything, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's deceiving. The unemployment rate can spike higher very quickly. It can go shoot up, man.
Yeah. One thing I'm saying about this Peter Schiff guy too, he's the one who called the top in Bitcoin, man. Bitcoin is finished, man. Bitcoin is out of here, man. If you get, I can mess around, break, Esau SEC violation, man. But
yeah, DJ
but
Khaled and
Floyd Mayweather,
yeah,
on those ICOs. Mm-hmm. But Bitcoin is out of here, man. Bitcoin will never be $20,000 ever again, ever.
Continuing on, it says, Schiff says most people are still in denial about the economy and the downturn too. What has happened in the last week is very bullish for the price of gold, and the price of gold is not catching much of a bid. I think, again, the main reason for this is because nobody gets it. Mm-hmm. People still think this is a bull market. they're not worried
You
about.
can probably stop there, bro. That's pretty much, because others, that's he going deeper into it. That's gonna be way over, The point is already made, man. You know what I'm saying? Because if I got a precept, this is 1 John 2. I'm gonna start at verse 20. But ye have an unction from the Holy One, and ye know all things. Because we can sit here and continue to spew more numbers, but the point is already made. The proof is in the pudding that this economy is done. All right. Even we even guided through the scriptures to pray for what? Our daily bread, and be appreciative of our daily bread. Because this is all facade. This is just a temporary. This is just a temporary moment in time in which Esau, through the abundance of resources that he has power to manipulate and move, all right, is able to generally sustain the needs of most of the so-called American people, man. All right. But why are we directed to pray and be thankful for our daily bread? Because there's gonna come a day when the shit hits the fan that you seeking your daily bread may very well lead some people to the chip.
Yo, I got something in the comment board of Anonymous from the same article. It says you cannot reason with a tiger when your head. Okay, select it.
Good.
It says right here, it says, then they will take your guns and ammo. Then in a few years from now, the tech matrix will be completely built. AI, robots, road sensors, 5G, the tech mafia will control you completely. Tech will watch, snoop, surveil, control, then kill you dead.
I got a precept when you're done with that.
Okay, first they will crash the economy. Broke people are easy to control. Men with wealth have options. That's why they're making them bumpers. They got options to flee from the nuclear destruction. The end manipulate this society. They will eliminate cash. Digital currency equals control. You will be watched and controlled.
Yeah.
Digital currency. Now, remember, all them, mostly every Europe, province over there, they have the RFID chip system on like Sweden, Australia,
and they're heavy too. They're heavy too. Is having Asia, China, and they're heavy too. Is already having the infrastructure in place because they've already moved further away from cash. When it comes to cash, like the utilization of cash, like bills, like America is slow with that to adopt cashless transactions. Like brother said, a lot of these European countries, African countries, Australia, Asian countries, Japan, China, a lot of them already have the infrastructure of being cashless. A lot of them use their cell phones, which eventually they want to put all information. He's going to put all information in you through the RFID microchip, which is the mark of the beast. But it all adds up, man, because like everything that was going in the comment that this guy made is completely correct. Was more on that?
No, that's basically
okay. I got a precept. This is 2 Ezra chapter 15. I'm gonna start verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. All right, and we know and understand that swords can be any weapon of war, so to speak. Knives, guns, grenades, But the point is, and one people shall stand stand up to fight against another, which that's going to go into martial law. He already said they're going to work to take your guns. So that means what? People are storing up guns. What are they storing up for? To defend themselves when in the event that all hell breaks loose. the wealthy have options. They're building bunkers. Why? Because even if you didn't believe the prophecies that are written, which we know and understand through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shai, a good number of the prophecies that are to come, even just the presence of ICBM missiles on the earth has a certain risk level to your life because they're on the earth. You know, that's just the way it is. But this is just all the fulfillment of biblical prophecy, man. I'm gonna continue on. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. That's gonna go into these race wars, man. All right, just even infighting between American citizens, okay, which is what it's going to be slightly controlled by the elites of Esau Edom, but then Yahweh is going to put a fear spirit in a lot of Americans as well, just for fight or flight, for just preservation of your life.
Yeah, well, it's happening now in France, man. You know, you got Satan against Satan over there in France, man, with these yellow vest protests, because they're protesting about you know, basically people feeling like they're being cheated by the government, man. That goes in that chapter brings out two about sedition, man.
Mm-hmm.
So this is worldwide. You're gonna have Edomites going against Edomites worldwide, Jake going against Esau worldwide. So this is only the beginning, but those signs are pointing to it coming here to America.
I got a precept. This is our Revelation chapter 3, verse 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation. And that temptation is going to come when the RFID chip is going to be mandatory. A lot of these things are collapsing around us. You know, we still got to have this in mind. Isaiah chapter 33, verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. It says, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. And it is. Like I said, a lot of people, they rioting over there. And I forgot which part. But they was rioting on the jobs about receiving the RFID chip and having it implanted. They want to implant the chips over there now.
Mm-hmm.
Some employees already accepted it. I think it was the UK. It was one of them. But the hour of temptation is going to come where it's between your life, like you receiving a sandwich because you're hungry, so you receive an RFID chip, or you just starve until the Lord just have some miraculous things to help you, you know, get food or something.
Mm-hmm.
But without having the chip though, because that's receiving the mark of the beast.
Mm-hmm. I finish this off in 1 John. This is 1 John chapter 2. I'm gonna start getting verse 20. But ye have an unction from the Holy One, and ye know all things. Verse 21. I have not written unto you because ye know not the truth, but because ye know it, and that no lie is of the truth. So all the things that we're able to go into through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shai, it's a result of us having the truth. Because if we didn't have and utilize and move in and push the truth of the Spirit that was given to us, Lord willing, by Yahweh Shai, you know, we wouldn't see these signs. We would fall for these lies. We would think that Esau is in complete control, or he has a grasp on things, so to speak, or even, you know, put our faith in where it's not supposed to be, maybe in other powers, other gods, ourselves, you know, certain pride demons, things of that nature. Putting your trust in things of this world that aren't of things from above, you know. But because we know and we trust in and we believe in things given to us through the Spirit, which are the spiritual fruit, so to speak, we're able to see these other things and we're able to bring it out to the people. You know, we don't just put these videos up just to, you know, sit here on a Saturday morning and see ourselves on YouTube. We're breaking this down to the Spirit, to the people, for them to see that, hey, we know what we're talking about, man.
That's what you say do. Go out to the highways and byways. And one of the ways of going out to the highways, besides the literal going out to the highways and byways, we do videos.
Mm-hmm.
You know, study the scriptures. Go ahead.
That was it. You want me to keep going? That was it.
Okay, I'll close out one more. All right, this is Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 15. Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small. So, all right, for the viewers that's watching, man, all right, you can't be ignorant of what's going on, man. You can't be in the World Star and figuring out. You can't be in why is LeBron James doing all the heavy work for the Los Angeles Lakers, man.
Mhm.
There's a lot more stuff that's going on besides sports and entertainment and your favorite celebrity, man. All right, all these events that we're talking about are coming to the shores of America, and a lot of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, because this is who this message is for, along with you confusing the faces, man, you're gonna get caught off guard.
Mhm.
All right, and then just like the scriptures say, then you will know that a prophet have been among you, man.
Come.
So you can't be ignorant. You gotta actually read up on, all right, the stock market crashed this day. I mean, the stock market was losing points. What's going on with the housing industry? What's going on with this? What's going on with I heard GM was letting people go. You got to start researching these things. All right,
Because it's gonna be a time where you ain't gonna get this information no more. That's all. That's Amos chapter
8,
eight verse
famine of the
11.
word.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a famine of the word. We're not gonna be sitting here. First of all, we're not gonna be going out to the highways and byways. They're gonna shut down YouTube. So you better get it while the getting is good, man. All right, and have that hedge of protection from Yahweh Shem Shai. All right, before you find yourself a victim of a serious fatality out here, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I have.
I don't got nothing.
All right, come. All right, so with that, we want to give all praise and glory and honor to
Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, Rakakadash.
double honors to the apostles, double honors to the elders of Great Millstone, quality elect, shalom.
Shalom.